Alright, hello and welcome. Hold on. This is part 3 of What If Female Deku Was the Goddess of Life and Death. Now, I did see some of the comments in the last part over the past couple weeks, and I'm sorry for, the last part, because the ending of the last part, because I did realize, after I did it, I was creeping right into, what was it called? Give me a minute. There we go. Yeah, I just realized I was going right into fanfiction territory. And I did notice there were a lot of votes against Bakudeku. So here's what I'm going to do. I will be retconning the ending bit of the last part, so I'll be doing it right here. So she doesn't go to Bakugo's house. She is still wandering around the earth and noticing how much has changed since she was sealed away. Give me a minute, I have a drink to get. Sorry about that. So, anyways, she is wandering around the earth, as she'd eventually make it to, Pompeii, and head to Mount Vesuvius, as she would look into the crater and find that this volcano has been inactive for years. I'm not sure if this is true, if Mount Vesuvius is inactive. If it is active, do let me know in the comments. If not, then anyways, as she realized, she would see this as the volcanoes are a product of Gaia, and she is and this half of her life half is technically an extension of Gaia. So she'd reached down and touched the volcano, as a rumbling would be heard, as the magma chamber within the volcano would immediately ignite, as the volcano would become active once more. But it's not too active to where it will erupt. As Izumi would look down at the volcano, happy that she had done some good for the earth, for Gaia. As she would continue to wander around the earth, as the heroes would have gotten reports that a volcano has become active again, as they have been told that was Mount Vesuvius. As this is furious that Izumi had basically caused a rebirth in the volcano, as he'd head over to there. So, another thing I'll be retconning from the last part is that gods and demigods cannot see through human disguises. So this is Izumi's human disguise, so they can't see through it due to her special properties. As Izumi would see the bolt of lightning strike the ground and see that Zeus is at the volcano, as he is furious. He actually is furious right now that Izumi had the audacity to restart a volcano, as he's basically going around the entire planet looking for her. Zeus is basically wanting Izumi's head on a stick for this. As it would have taken the entire day before Zeus calmed down and went back to Olympus to rest, as Izumi would have been looking up into the sky, as she would see her star, still half alive and half dead, as she would begin to move towards her. She would begin to float up towards her star, as she would grab it with her life half. She would grab the alive half part was her life half, and the other half of it was her death half. As her star is not affected by either of her powers. As Izumi would begin to think to herself, why did they do this to me? I had no control over that situation. So why am I being punished for something that I couldn't even control? As soon as she let her star go, she swiped her death hand across the sky, temporarily turning off all the stars in the sky. As this wouldn't kill the gods, since their stars are just turned off and not dead. As everybody in the world would have seen this and begin to panic, thinking that a villain with a very powerful quirk had just appeared. As Izumi... Sorry about that. As Izumi would still be quite enraged, as she would then go to sit... Oh, hold on. Sorry about that. As she would be sitting on the edge of Mount Vesuvius, as the magma would begin to continue bubbling. As Izumi would begin to calm, as she would then move her life arm over the entire sky, as the stars would then turn back on. As Izumi then began to move, she had seen the changes to Earth, so she decided to head to, the moon. As she would land there, as Artemis, being the technical goddess of the moon, would be there. Now, Artemis isn't like the other gods. She has no ill will towards Izumi. So, she does know that it was an accident. As Artemis would say, "Oh, hey, Izumi." As Izumi would say, "Hey, Artemis. How have you been? It's been a couple million years." As Artemis would say, "Yeah, it's a real shame what happened to your eye. I'm sorry for you." As Izumi would say, "Oh, no, it's fine. It's not bothering me anyway." As Artemis would respond with, "Yeah, it's a real shame my dad has such a short temper. If he had actually given you time to explain what happened, maybe we wouldn't be in this situation." As Izumi would say, "Yeah, you're probably right. Anyway, how's Apollo doing?" As Artemis would say, "Apollo's doing great. It's a good thing you didn't extinguish his star. Otherwise, humanity would be gone by now." As Izumi would begin to chuckle a little bit, as she would say, "Yeah, you're right." As Artemis would say, "Hey, I got a funny story to tell you. You want to hear it?" As Izumi would say, "If it's you, then it's going to be funny. Come on, let's hear it." As Izumi would then sit down, and so would Artemis. As Artemis would tell the story, and some of you might know it's a classic, where a hunter had found Artemis bathing. As in this story, she basically said the next time the hunter opened his mouth to speak, he would be turned into a deer. As Artemis would tell her this story, as she'd say, and then the guy tried to call his hunting dogs back, and he got turned into a deer. And Izumi was like still faced for a couple seconds, and then she immediately burst out laughing. As she would say, "You cannot be serious. There's no way that happened." As Artemis, Artemis would say, "Yeah, it did happen. It was hilarious. Oh, you should have seen the look on the man's face when he turned into a deer. He looked so surprised." As hold on. As Artemis would say after they both calm down from their laughing fits, as she would say, so they're both currently looking at the Earth at this point. As Artemis would say, "So, what do you plan on doing? I mean, you have the gods and their descendants after you, so what are you going to do?" As Izumi would say, "Well, I know Persephone's descendant, I think her name was Ray, is locked up. Persephone and Hades' descendant, Ray, is locked up, so I'm going to try and get her out." As Artemis would say, "Yeah, I heard. The fact that that man decided to do that to such a lovely woman disgusts me." As Izumi would say, I actually overheard it a while ago. It's a real shame humans have fallen so far that they are willing to do that just for an ounce of our power." As Artemis would look over to Izumi as she'd say, "You're starting to go into a villainous monologue there." As Izumi would say, "Oh, right, sorry." As Artemis would say, No, it's fine. It's just I just wanted to make sure you wouldn't go full-blown crazy and try to overthrow Zeus. Do you remember the last guy who tried to overthrow Zeus?" As she would say, "Ah, yes, that guy. Oh, what was his name again? Hold on. I actually did forget his name for a minute. Give me a second." As Artemis would respond with, "You mean Typhon?" As she would say, "Yeah, Typhon." As Izumi would look over to Artemis as she would say, "Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" As Artemis would say, "Let me guess, they're going to go and free Typhon as a prank on this." As she said, she's like holding back a smile, as she'd say, "Probably, but I'm not. No, it would be too dangerous. Remember what happened the last time we tried to do that? Typhon who was let out. He nearly killed Zeus." As Artemis would say, "Yeah, guy's a tough one." As Izumi would look over to Artemis as she'd say, well, our time spent together was quite nice, but I think I'll go and check on Atlas, see how he's doing." As Artemis would say, "Oh, yeah, right. So I'll see you later then." As Izumi would look back to Artemis and say, "Sure, I'll come up here every now and then to talk to you. Just gotta make sure Zeus isn't here when I'm coming." As Artemis would say, "Yeah, see ya." As Izumi would say, "Ta-ta, Artemis." As she would then head back to Earth. And that is where I'm going to leave this part off. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. And I hope to see you all next time. Ta-ta.